Hey everybody, welcome to the Friar Talk podcast. For today, it's just going to be not for today. Well, Chase might come on in a little bit, but for right now, it's just going to be me. Matt's at the game. Chase should be here soon, I'm hoping. But we got a Nationals Padres series coming up, and it looks like it's going to be some exciting matchups. Um, Today we got, I think it's John Lester going up against who's pitching today? Joe Musgrove. Joe Musgrove, and it looks like Patrick Corbin and Max Scherzer are going to be lined up. I know Max Scherzer is so far lined up against Yu Darvish, and I'm very excited to see that matchup. It's going to be Yu Darvish and Max Scherzer, two of the top pitchers in the game. I think it's going to be a very fun matchup for everyone to watch. And Kyle Schwarber is on the IL. He's going to be out for at least 10 days, so we're not going to get to see one of the home run leaders, which is very unfortunate. But we are going to see one of the other best players in the game, Juan Soto. I'm a huge Juan Soto fan. He's one of my favorite players for sure. I think I can speak for everyone in the MLB when I say he's absolutely maybe even the best hitter in baseball. This is going to be a very fun matchup. The Nationals didn't really have a good series against the Dodgers, but it's baseball. Any team can bounce back at any time. So we're coming back home. We know how hot of a team the Padres are at home. They're easily maybe the best team at home when it comes to the MLB, and right now, this lineup is looking really good. We did lose to the Phillies, but one of those is off a walk-off win. You just got to give them, hats off to the Phillies. Also, I love that Ha-Seong Kim gets some playing time. Yeah, Ha-Seong Kim in the lineup. I didn't really get to see the lineup today, but if he is in the lineup, which seems like he is, absolutely, you love to get Ha-Seong Kim. One of the more talented, probably our most talented depth piece on our team. You love to get him some at bats. Home sweet home for the dads, absolutely. DFA Myers. Chase will probably have something to say about that. I'm not as big a Myers supporter as Chase is, but I do like Will Myers. It's funny because after the Dodgers game I went to, I thought I saw him going down the street, and no one believed me when I said I saw him, but I promise you I saw him. He was. I feel like he's a fan favorite among the Padres. He's pretty polarizing. He's not as polarizing as guys like Eric Hosmer or a guy like Chris Paddock, who you either love him or you hate him. Will Myers is kind of, I think everyone likes him. Just he's struggling right now. When he's hot, he's definitely one of the better hitters in the league, one of the best hitters on our team. Please no Myers slander. Yeah, I know. But he's just cold right now. Everyone in the league is going to go through a cold slump. Manuel's going through one for a while. Fernando started off the season really cold. Everyone's going to go through a slump, so we just got to hope that Will Myers is going to pick it up. And then if you guys have any questions, just let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about this Nationals Padres series some more. Looks like Trey Turner is back in the lineup. Trey Turner, one of the better shortstops in this league. It's funny because the Nationals do believe he's an all-star type shortstop, and I think he is too. He just doesn't really hit for much power. But he is an exciting player, very, 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 very fast. I hope you can get us tickets for a game too, Igor. But yeah, the Nationals, I was talking about Juan Soto, and I remember reading an article about how, Juan Soto, Fernando, and Ronald Acuna can be one of the next three, kind of the trio to lead the way for the new age of the league, the young faces of the league. You can start putting guys like Shohei Ohtani in there. You can start putting guys like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You can start putting those guys in there too. But the whole consensus at the time was that it would be Acuna, Tatis, and Juan Soto. And they compared them to like Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, that kind of era, which is really cool to see. Chase is a huge advocate for trading for Sandy Alcantara and Starling Marte, which I think it would be a good trade as well. We need depth in the outfield, and we absolutely need another starting pitcher. Alcantara has the most thrown innings in the league right now, which would be really huge for us considering, we have some guys that are going 4, 5, 3, whatever it is, which is very unfortunate and is really taxing on the bullpen. But hopefully we see someone on. Hopefully we see someone join this rotation real soon. Trade Myers and Gore to Texas for Gallo. I don't think anyone's going to be willing to take Will Myers' contract. It's a very steep contract. I think we would actually have to lose a trade if we were to give up Myers because he definitely does not have much value right now. Here's Chase.
What's up?
What's up, Chase? How's it going? So I don't know if you see the comments. Somebody said trade Myers and Gore to Texas for Gallo. I just wanted to know what you had to say because you like Will.
No, you do not trade Gore. Gore has too much superstar potential. I would hate to get rid of Myers, but I would do it for the right person. If it helped us win a World Series, then I would be okay with it. But you don't get rid of Gore. You have to keep Gore.
Yeah.
And I agree with SGNDs. Big fan of Alcantara, me too, and I love Will. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, so I was saying, I think if we were to trade Will, we would actually have to lose the trade because his contract is so big. That
it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad of a contract. Eric Hosmer's is by far worse.
Oh, well, Eric Hosmer is worse. But would you say Will Myers is worth the contract? Yes,
I
and
think, yeah, depending on last year, he was probably one of the better bats in the lineup, and he was definitely worth the contract. I think right now we're seeing him trying to get out of a slump, and his playing time has been cut a little bit. So I think it's going to be a little prolonged, but we've seen glimpses of him breaking out of it. So I'm just waiting for it.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's kind of the worst way to try and get one of your guys to end the slump. Keep them in and out of the lineup because you want to get them those consistent at bats. Try and get them out there. Get them some hacks. And with Will Myers, what was that?
Mateo, you don't. Yes, you don't want to give more.
All hope is lost for Mateo. In my opinion, you get him out there. You don't even need the guy as a pinch runner. We don't really go to extras that much. He goes up to bat, and more likely than not, it's a strikeout. It's not even a good at bat either. It's a strikeout. It feels like it's always a strikeout. Tatis is batting 2 right now. I wouldn't say he's in a slump.
He said when he was in his
when he was in a slump. Yeah, he was batting 2 or 3, I think. Yeah, he was in a massive slump. But like I said, all players are going to get in those slumps. Yeah, Mateo, I see everyone has some pretty bad opinions on Mateo. I hope Haas has a nice game today. I've been waiting for that for a really long time. We talked about Haas earlier in this episode.
We have been waiting for that man to earn his contract. And I don't think there's come a single day where I'm like, you know what? I am so happy that we signed Hosmer. I don't think there's been a day that's happened.
Yeah, no, definitely not. We need to dump Myers' contract soon. Yeah, I kind of agree.
I think we need to dump Haas's before Myers because Myers is more team friendly, honestly.
Also, can we talk about Machado in the Philly series? Machado in the Philly series absolutely went off. That was really good to see. He's been kind of hot recently, but it felt like this was definitely his best series. He was starting to hit some bombs, and we definitely want to see more bombs out of him. I always talk about. I know a lot of Dodger fans. Me and Chase lived around a lot of Dodger fans, and I always bring up these. They love bringing up these contracts. It's so funny how they love bringing up these contracts. At the beginning of the season, I walked into a Target, and one of my friends was there, and he goes, "It looks like you guys already overpaid Tatis." And I was like, "Are you serious? We're like 30 games. Like we weren't even 30 games to the season. It was the first month of the season, probably like 15 games in. And now I'm looking at him like, hey, isn't there a right fielder on your team that gets paid like 330 plus mil that's batting like 240, 250 right now with like 10 bombs? That's kind of Machado's making 300 mil. He's batting like 260, around 260 right now, maybe 15 bombs.
Do you think the Padres can win the World Series this year or next year? I think next year is more likely. I think this year we'll probably get out of the first. It's hard to say right now. The wild card series, and then we have to go and play the division. I think we get to the NL Championship this year. I just want to see them progress one more round, and so that every single player gets a little bit more postseason experience because you can tell that is what they lacked last year compared to other teams. And we were also really injured, so having us back may help. But I think we'll have a better idea of where everybody stands within the team and where everybody's going to be at in their career for many years next year. Because we'll figure out if Lamet will continue to be a starter, if not, if he can be a bullpen piece, if not a closer. That settles some questions down the line. Our bullpen will probably be more refreshed next year, probably because we have a couple more starters that will eat more innings. Paddock is coming back with the resurgence. So I say next year is going to be more likely than when we win a World Series compared to this year.
Yeah, I think this team's very hungry. I absolutely do think they can win the World Series, but we just want to see some progress. I want to see progress. I want to see them make it to the NLCS, and this team's certainly capable of that. They got the pitching, they got the lineup, they got the electricity, the superstar power. They got it all, in my opinion. And if they can get home field advantage by winning the division, that's going to be an absolute plus because we see how dominant this team is at home. I see also not Padres, but what do you think of the Giant City Connect jerseys? Those things make me want to puke. Those things are
I'm
so
looking at
ugly.
them right now.
They're so ugly. I don't like them at all. I think everyone's favorite is probably the White Sox City Connect jerseys. Those things are
Did you
sick.
look at Miami's? Miami's were
I haven't
really
seen Miami's
nice.
yet. I haven't seen Miami's
Look
yet.
up Miami's right now. If they do something like Miami for the Padres with like the orange and blue that they used to do for the '80s, I would buy one because those Miami
Those are pretty
jerseys are
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
I
I like
also
those.
like the White Sox a lot too, but those
Yeah.
two are my favorites.
I don't think
Yeah,
the
no, those
Padres.
Giants are ugly.
Those things are ugly, dude. Those Giants ones are ugly. I wouldn't say
I
that.
didn't think,
What's
go ahead.
that?
I was gonna say I didn't
Uh,
think I liked the Wrigley when they got leaked, but the Wrigley ones looked good. I even liked the Diamondback ones, the Los Serpientes were
oh,
dope.
those are cool.
I
Those are really cool. No, I like those too. Padres still like starter depth prior to the playoffs. I mean, it's the trade deadline hasn't come yet, so I definitely think that's going to be addressed. I wouldn't say we lack starter depth. It's just a matter of Yu Darvish is pretty consistent. Snell just doesn't really go many innings. Paddock is starting to become more consistent. Still has those iffy outings at times. Musgrove is very consistent. So we're just missing that one guy at the bottom of the rotation. Normally it would be Lamet, but he's just hurt.
and Clev's gonna be back next year, so there's more reasons that it will be next year than this year. Though we
Yeah.
have a couple guys in the minor leagues. I keep saying this. I honestly think Gore's problem is El Paso. El Paso's a hitter-friendly park. He needs a change of scenery. He needs these veteran arms that like coach him up more than a pitching coach could. Because I don't think the AAA guys, the AAA pitching coach is doing that good of a job right now with him. He needs a change of scenery. He needs Darvish or someone to talk to him with about his pitches, and maybe Snell might be able to help him with that because he's a lefty. Palm too. Hell, maybe even Weathers because he's already up and he can tell him how to make adjustments at the major league level. You got to bring those two up at the same time so they can make a competition of who's going to be the better left-handed starter for the Padres. Having a little competition within the clubhouse is always good.
Definitely, absolutely. I would love to put the Coronado Bridge. The Coronado Bridge on the Padres jersey would be so sick, especially because it's right there. But mentioning what Chase was talking about, Mackenzie Gore, I want to get you guys' opinion. Would you guys be willing to trade Mackenzie Gore? I know Chase isn't willing to trade Mackenzie Gore. I don't really know if I'm willing to do it either, but I'm sure there's a lot of fans that would be willing to do it just because he hasn't looked very good in the minor league, or well, I don't know about before. I know he did look good before this, and in the futures game, I remember he pitched a pretty good outing. But just recently, everybody has that recency bias, and it's not like the talent went away from Mackenzie Gore. He still got the talent of one of the top prospects in baseball. He's still got a plus fastball. He's still got it all. It's just a matter of I do think it's mental, kind of like Chris Paddock at the beginning of the season. He talked about, I'm sure everybody's seen the Padres POV recently with all the rain delays that have happened. He talked about how he mentally he needed to turn it around. He needed to get away from the I'm an ace to start realizing he's a fourth or fifth starter. So maybe Chase is right. He needs a change of scenery, but just want to know if you guys would be willing to trade Mackenzie Gore right now, which you guys got to remember he's at his lowest point. I don't think it's a good idea to trade him right now. He doesn't have as much value as he normally would. So I don't think it's a good idea to move on. Do you think Snell can turn it around this year or next year and not just go for it? Chase, what do you think of Blake Snell?
So if we take out his Cy Young year, he has over a 4 ERA career. He shows glimpses of the fact that he can recreate that 2018 season, that magical 2018 season. He just hasn't put it all together. And the problem with Snell is that he can't locate within the zone. He either throws it like straight down the middle, or he tries to throw it too hard and overthrows it, or he tries to locate too perfectly and can't locate any of his off-speed pitches. And honestly, I think he should scrap the changeup because every time he throws the changeup, it's not a strike. It doesn't work out for him. Stick to your 3 pitches. Be able to locate those 3 pitches whenever you want. Blake Snell is going to be one of the top pitchers in the MLB because he throws gas, he has a nasty slider, and he has a devastating curveball.
Yeah.
His on the road thing is, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's unfamiliarity with the ballparks because he's so used to the AL that where he played within the same ballparks at all times, and coming into a new league and new parks just might be like flustering and just not be used to where he's at. And I don't know if that plays a thing out with him. Sending him down to work things out, I don't think you can do that with Snow. I think you have to let him work it out here. If he gets hurt, then you can DFA him and then maybe keep him DFA'd for a couple weeks, but that's only if he gets hurt. I don't think you can send him down.
Yeah. No, Blake Snell won't be sent down. Too big of a name. Maybe he is a little overrated, but he can absolutely turn things around. We see at home he has an amazing splits. Like he's done really well at home, so it's not crazy to think that he can start doing that on the road too. Because he certainly can. He showed he can. You're right, Chase. Outside of that Cy Young year, you take that out, you factor that out. He does have a really high ERA, not ace worthy ERA, but he's a number 2. So I don't expect him to go out there and toss 6 or 7 scoreless. I expect him to go out there, and he hasn't done it much lately, but throw 5, maybe allow 1 or 2 runs, or throw 6, maybe allow 2 or 3 runs. He can absolutely turn this thing around. Can we show support for Webby Rivas? Absolutely. Webby Rivas has thrown or caught some really, really good games. Been a very serviceable catcher for us.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason I want Gora. Maybe having a catcher that he's thrown to and is familiar with. I think he caught with Rivas in his AA season, and just kind of they've kind of all been thrown out of element, all the prospects, because last year was kind of a wash year. They didn't get any minor league season, and they were stuck at an alternate camp, kind of just playing interims and kind of just playing the same team over and over again. You won't get that development that you need. I know some people are arguing that you're getting more with pitching coaches that they wouldn't have gotten, but I think being not able to throw live action against different batters who react to all sorts of pitches different ways from differing levels really takes a step back in your development. And I think that's what happened with Gore, and him not being called up over Weathers probably also affected him mentally, because he was supposed to be the top prospect. He's supposed to be the guy that they call up immediately, and it was Weathers instead of him. I don't care what we can get for Gore. He's 22 years old. Jacob deGrom didn't pitch in this league until 24, and his minor league numbers were okay. His first year, he threw something like a 4 ERA. His first year in the minors, he threw 5.49. His second year was like a 4.33. And then his third year in the minors wasn't even that much better, but then he got called up to the league, and look how he is now. So minors don't mean that much.
Yeah. Not everyone can be Fernando and come into the league at 19 or 20 and absolutely go bonkers. But Gore's still really young. But the thing is, the Padres have shown the willingness to be all in. And I think if being all in means you trade Mackenzie Gore, depending on what you get, I think the Padres are fully going to be willing to do it. His estimated time of arrival was supposed to be this year. It was supposed to be this year. It's not looking like it'll be this year. He definitely had some major setbacks. I don't know if I really want to trade him, but the Padres are all in right now. Seidler has, you guys got to know that Seidler's had some health issues. I heard this on a podcast. He's had some health issues. He wants to win a World Series while he's still here. If that takes trading some of the guys on the farm to do so, he's going to do it. He's going to want Preller to do it for sure, because this team is ready to win now. Fernando, we got him locked in for 14 years. We want to keep him in the playoffs for as long as we can. We want to keep him, and I understand that means we got to keep the future. But at the same time, we can get some good contracts. We can get some good players. We can get some control if it's for Mackenzie Gore. Maybe not right now because he's at his lowest point. And this sounds like I do want to trade him, but I mean, I'm not opposed to. I'm not I want to keep him, but if it's for the right price, I'm not opposed to trading him. That's just me. I want Nola back. Nola should be back after the All-Star break. Tingler came out and said that he won't be back. He won't be back until after the All-Star break.
Yeah, he was having some trouble like blocking and then getting back up and hopping back up from his knees because it is a knee injury, so you don't want to take those things lightly. So yeah, I'd rather him take the extra time that he needs to make sure that knee's completely healthy, because being a catcher, your knees are the first thing to go, and that's usually why catchers end up moving over to first. But yes, I know everyone cannot be a Jacob deGrom, but I'm just saying minor leagues numbers don't tell all. Someone might struggle in the minor leagues, but then figure something out at the major league level. And sometimes it's just the best thing to do is throw a prospect out there, let them try to swim at the major league levels. If they succeed, if they don't, then you know you didn't waste your time just letting him sit in the major league or in the minor leagues waiting for him to actually figure things out. You got to let him get your league to the majors at one point to see if it was all worth it. If not, it was all for nothing.
Yeah, Tatis didn't put up the numbers in the minor leagues that he's doing in the major leagues, so definitely not a big deal. I think it's more a big deal.
Tatis was a worse hitter in the minor leagues than he was in the major leagues.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He didn't put up the numbers in the minor leagues that he did in the major leagues. I think it's more. I get concerned when people see Jorge Mateo or Tucupita Marcano balling out in spring training and think that they can make something out of themselves on this roster, because they certainly can't. And I don't know, dude. I think people got to realize in spring training that when these guys get the hits, when Mateo and Marcano get their hits, it's not always against the starters. It's against the guys that they normally be facing in the minor leagues.
And then even then, the starters in spring training are always working on something in particular. Either they're going to work on fastball location first and then bring their off speed and try to locate their off speed. So they really don't care how many runs or where they miss. They're focusing on one in particular thing per outing and working on pitch counts and stuff like that. They don't care. They're stretching out for the season. This means nothing to them. Now, Gallo for Campy and Tuco, I would do that in a heartbeat.
For sure. Trade deadline predictions for the Padres. First, I want to mention SGN Geeks brought up Trent Grisham. Trent Grisham, we brought it up. He's a star in this league. I'm just as confused as you on why Mookie Betts is an all-star. Tommy Pham even has some better stats than Mookie Betts. Grisham just did miss a lot of time, absolutely. But Betts did not really deserve an all-star nod. We have a video coming out soon on how Manny was snubbed. We didn't really make one on anyone else, but just Manny. Trade deadline predictions for the Padres. I do think we're going to get Joey Gallo. We might get Kyle Gibson as well.
Like I said, I'd much rather trade with the Marlins just because I like their package better compared to Gibson and Gallo. I like Marte and his versatility in the outfield a little bit more than Gallo. He gets a little more hits, and he's not either a walk or home runs, or a walk, strikeout, or home run. I kind of like a little bit more versatility than that. Marte is also, I think, on a little bit cheaper of a contract, and so is Alcantara. And Alcantara's got a few years on his contract, and Alcantara is frankly a better pitcher and younger. So everything you're looking for.
Definitely. I'm not opposed to either trade, whether it's Gallo and Gibson, or Alcantara and Marte. I'm not opposed to either one. But I mean, we just need a guy that's going to be able to throw a lot of innings as a fifth starter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's why Mateo's on this team too.
Mateo is out of options in the minor league, so they don't really have a choice.
Exactly. So, if only there were more.
Any ideas or any thoughts on a trade that you guys think about? Like, I know a lot of people want Brian Reynolds. You guys want to talk about a guy that you think we don't mention that we should trade for? Go ahead, shoot. We'll tell you our thoughts on it. I like Brian Reynolds, but the problem is I know he's going to be expensive, and this was his kind of 1 year where he's really popped off. And I know a lot of other Padres fans wanted, I think it was Ricardo Rodriguez on the Pirates, and to package those two so that we can get a closer and outfielder. I just feel like that's going to kind of be the same thing with Joey Gallo. It's going to be more expensive because Reynolds is under control for, I think, 3 years, another 3 years. And then I think Ricardo Rodriguez is also on control for like another 3 years. So it's going to cost a little bit more. You get Brian Reynolds, who is having an amazing year.
Yeah, absolutely not opposed to getting him. You know, we need all the help we can get in terms of depth as well. Mateo, yeah, he's a lost cause for sure.
Gregory Soto. I do not know that name.
I don't know that name
Kyle
either.
Crick. Kyle Crick is absolutely disgusting. The only problem with him is sometimes he gets a little wild and doesn't really kind of craps the bed and puts himself in bad situations. Gregory Soto,
Mateo,
left-handed. He has under a 3 RA. You could probably get him from pretty cheap from the Tigers. If you give him a solid enough prospect, I think you get rid of like the number 17 and 18 prospect and get him. Nothing too expensive. I kind of like that. We kind of do need another lefty just in case someone goes down again. Though you guys got to remember, Matt Strom is close to returning. He is going to be throwing bullpen soon.
yeah.
He's really working on his to make sure that his knee doesn't give in again. And Tingler was saying that he looks really strong compared to what he used to. I think he's going to be fine. And when he comes back, we're going to be able to eat up some innings with him because he's a multiple inning reliever. So I don't think we need to trade for another bullpen arm just yet. And we're going to know more after the draft because I'm pretty sure that's going to really be a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a marker
that's gonna impact what we do at the deadline for sure.
Yeah, because we know what talent we'll have coming in before we can send people out. Sending people out without knowing what we're getting back in this draft isn't a good idea, especially since we're later in the draft. Someone might fall that's really valuable and might be able to replace someone. If we don't get that, then it might be a waste trading away one of our high risk, high rewards guy.
I also think Austin Adams is overrated. I can't really think of an outing. I mean, he's had some okay outings for sure. He's had some really good outings.
He's had some good outings, but the problem is that Tingler tries to use him in high leverage situations, and he isn't good for that. Not Ryan Reynolds, Austin Adams. He's one of those guys where you have to give him a fresh inning to start out with because he's always going to walk someone or he's going to hit someone. You can't give him the 10th inning where, oh my God, look, there's this guy on second base. Work your way out of this. No. You can't do that. I know I've said this in an earlier video that you need a strikeout artist, and Austin Adams, and he's on, is a strikeout artist. But you can't use him in the 10th inning. You can't use him in a high leverage situation. You got to give him a clean slate.
Tim Hill, baby. Tim Hill's the best arm in our bullpen. And I honestly, I don't know who the best arm in our bullpen is. I'm just a big Tim Hill fan. I always like Will Myers. Will Myers is absolutely a major hole in our lineup right now. Sorry, Chase. I know you love the guy, but he is an absolute major hole.
Not as bad as Hosmer.
Not as bad as Hosmer. Not as bad as Hosmer at all. But them two batting back to back is, oh God, I can't do it.
Adam
King of the hit by pitch.
He is the king of hit by pitch.
Yes.
That's why I said you got to give him a clean slate. You can't put him in a situation with run. You got to let him work his way through a team.
Yeah, he hits a lot of people.
Drew Smiley would be nice. Campy and Tuco for Adam Duvall. That would bring some power into the outfield. That would kind of – what is he hitting? I haven't seen his average. I just know he's Adam Duvall. Just because I know he's a power hitter, but sometimes he doesn't hit for the greatest average. 230.
230. Oh, 19 home runs, which is pretty nice.
19 home runs. Like I said, he provides some really good power to the outfield. But the problem is that he's going to be like Will Myers in that aspect where he's going to probably strike out a lot. He's not going to walk a lot. And Myers might just play a little bit better of a defense. So you're just trading in power for defense. And if you're going to do that, you might as well do Myers and hope he goes on a hot streak. The addition of Alcantara might make it worth it just because he's the guy that has years of control.
Myers didn't even pinch hit. That's a signal from the manager. Maybe,
I wouldn't say
so.
He's been hitting under 200 for the last 30 games, and he's still in the lineup.
It's fine.
And he's been doing worse than Myers, so I don't think that's a signal from anything. Chris Matt, Christopher does deserve some love because man, he's come into some crappy situations, thrown
Oh
5
yeah,
innings, sent down the next day just because he needed to eat those innings. He's
definitely.
been great for the Padres bullpen. His numbers don't reflect how valuable he is to this Padres bullpen.
Mm-hmm. You guys got to start believing in Profar. Yeah. Funny enough, Profar's batting average is only 2 points behind Will right now. His on base
Will's
percentage is 60 points higher. Just his OPS and his slugging percentage is really, really bad.
it's just because he doesn't hit for power. He hasn't hit. I think
Yeah.
he's hit one home run. He's starting to hit for doubles, well, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. Profar, just never play him in the outfield. Exactly, play him at first base.
Literally don't put him in the
I
outfield.
know he gets the yips sometimes at second base, so just throw him at first base. He won't ever have to throw the ball.
Yeah. Padres need a legit hitting catcher. Well, it was pretty much supposed to be
It was
Campusano, but he
Nola.
didn't really have a good start. It was like in terms of prospects, it was gonna be Campusano. We don't know if he's gonna be through with us after the deadline, but I think Nola's reliable. I think he's gonna be. I think he's a really good hitting catcher, and he's
I
able to
think
play
saying
multiple positions.
durable enough is not fair to Nola because he gets hit a lot. Whenever, like his first game back, he got hit on the hand he broke. Like that's just unfortunate. And then the knee injury is unfortunate. So I wouldn't say that he's not durable. He's going to be fine. It's just a streak of unluckiness, and he is reliable when we need him to be.
Yeah, Robert Hassel is definitely an outfielder of the future. We kind of have some stopgaps right now. Tommy Pham was a little bit of a stopgap. He might get extended because of how hot he is. Will Myers is gone soon, so I would think Robert Hassel will be put there soon. Yeah, the
Yeah,
thought of putting the thought of putting Profar at first isn't bad. He's played first before. He's been playing first a lot more recently. They're very adamant on putting him in the outfield, and they should definitely start putting him at second in case Jake needs some rest.
that's what Kim's for.
Yeah, Kim's absolutely a
The
stud too. That's the thing. That's always a good problem though.
The only reason I like Profar at first is he won't misplay a ball in the outfield. He can read pop flies and fly balls really well because of the time he spent in the outfield, which Hosmer needs to do. He can probably pick better than Hosmer. And I know Profar sometimes struggles with yips at second base. That was one of his problems in Oakland, and he had committed a bunch of errors because he couldn't throw to first. So you wouldn't have to throw the ball, and he plays good first base. Like Ivan Medina says, he plays good first base because he doesn't have to throw the ball.
Yeah, Barrios could be a real target. Barrios could absolutely be a real target. The Twins should be selling at the deadline.
No, do not trade for Salvador Perez. I love Salvi, but let him retire a Royal. He's done so much for that team. He's just a staple to that roster. We don't need him. Love him as a player, but let him retire a Royal. Barrios, I love Jose Barrios. He would cost a little bit. I don't know what the Twins would want for him. I don't know how it would work out with this contract and everything, considering the money we've got tied up in 4 players. So it's a tough one.
No, it's easier to bag on Hosmer. Yeah, it's pretty easy to bag on Hosmer. He does have a negative WAR. But that's the thing. It's kind of weird. He always comes up clutch in those bases clearing situations. So I guess credit to Eric Hosmer there.
Honestly, I agree with you, geeks. I love Danny Duffy. I've been saying that we should get Danny Duffy for a minute. I don't say it on the podcast a lot because it's not a name that everybody knows. I'm iffy on Andrew Benintendi just because he hasn't really lived up to his potential when he was on the Reds. He's having a nice year right now. He'd be a great platoon in right field. But yeah, I love Danny Duffy. If we're gonna trade with the Royals, I want Danny Duffy.
Yeah, you guys were mentioning in the chat, Starling Marte did get offered a multi-year deal, but from the Marlins. Yikes! Don't. They're definitely trying to rack up his price. No, that kind of sucks.
I don't think the Royals are gonna let go of Whit Merrifield. That's the thing. Whit Merrifield's kind of a player that you kind of build around for the Royals, considering some of the older guys that they got there. flame
That's what they
throwing
do
lefty
more.
in the
Yeah,
exactly what you need him to be.
he's gonna take a little while to kind of find his footing, but he's not a starter. He's absolutely not a starter. He should be coming out of the bullpen.
I've been saying this. Morejon isn't a starter. If you look at his minor league numbers, every time he gets around to 60 to 90 innings, he gets a shoulder impingement or a shoulder problem. And this time it just happened to be Tommy John. He's too young to be a starter. You got to slow him down. You can put him in as a multi-inning reliever and or just put him as like a closer with his stuff. That would be lights out. You just add another cheap arm to the bullpen that's controllable for many years. It's exactly what you need right now. And a guy that can go multiple innings. What this bullpen needs.
Profar is good in the outfield. Profar doesn't really have the arm to be in the outfield. Doesn't really, I mean, last year he was pretty good in the outfield for sure. He didn't really have any defensive mishaps that I can remember. But so far this year hasn't been the case. Hopefully he figures that out, though. I really like Profar. I'm a Profar believer for sure. Myers
plays better outfield than Profar by far. Myers' desired position is right field. He came up as the AL Rookie of the Year in right field. He plays good outfield. Michel Baez, man. Isaac, you remember Michel Baez?
No, he sucks, dude. No, stop. He sucks. It's done. It's a scrap. It's scrapped. He's not. No, just no.
I like Michel Baez, as you can see. Isaac does not. I think he is good in relief, but he's not a high leverage guy. He's another like a fifth, sixth inning guy. If you need a guy to go a couple innings because your starter caves into the fourth or fifth, you could put him in for 2 innings. Yeah, I really want Jose Castillo back, man. I've been waiting for him to come back for years. He just always has those unfortunate injuries. I love Jose Castillo. I want back on this team so badly, but every time he comes back, it's always something with his forearm or his elbow, and I don't know what it is within his mechanics or what it is. He's just very unlucky. But I would want him back on this. He is such a good arm.
I was called a sinner for being a Profar believer. I mean, trust me, I don't believe him to be a star. I don't think he's going to be a star in this league, but I definitely think he's going to be a good depth piece.
He is a great depth piece. He puts in at bats and he walks.
Exactly. He puts us in really good at bats.
You want to take that bat at the bottom of the lineup so that you can get the starter out early. You put Profar there, and that's exactly what he'll do.
Really good at bats.
He may not be the star that Preller may think him to be. He's not that number one prospect. He hasn't lived up to that potential, and we all saw that kind of last year was a little fluky kind of, but he will hit 260 with lengthy at bats and gap to gap power, which can't ask for much for more than a depth piece.
Profar is the second best outfielder besides Grish. Tommy Pham is proven to be that right now.
Greg Garcia, man.
What a name.
What a guy.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
Further, don't trade with the Rangers. He's about to speed run that challenge because you know that's not going to happen. He's going to trade with the Rangers as soon as he possibly can.
Yep. See, if Pablo Lopez was to join us, he would and we played the Braves, he'd probably end up hitting Ronald Acuna, and I'm not cool with that. So
we love Ronald Acuna. You don't throw at that man. The same reason I would never trade for Jose Urena.
Dude, no, the Marlins legit throw at Acuna each time they play him.
So Kim is going to take a little bit of time to adjust. We all saw it with a couple of the KBO guys. Like you say, Kikuchi is finally starting to show up this year. It takes a couple years of development in the majors for them to finally get going. We saw it with Jung Ho Kong. We saw it with a couple other guys. They take a couple years, but you know what? Once they actually develop, their talent starts to shine through. Darvish wasn't an immediate star in this league. The only one that came over from overseas and was his immediate star was Ichiro Suzuki. That's just because he's that good of a hitter.
Last minute game predictions. I don't really have a game prediction, but I am going to say that the Padres will take the series 3-1. They're just a dominant team at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Game time. It's game time right now. I'll probably stick around, maybe answer some more questions in the comments. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. Looking forward to this game. Looking forward to the series against the Nationals team that was hot before they started playing the Dodgers. So we'll talk to you guys real soon. We're gonna have more videos coming out tomorrow. We're going daily now. So thank you guys for showing up, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Yeah. All right. Peace out, everybody.